How's it going, everyone? Nick here. We're going to go into Nick at Night, the last one of 2021. What a crazy year. You know how we do it. Let's talk about the books we picked up last week. Let's get into it. Welcome back. So we are going to go over the books we picked up last week, the last week in December, and we're going to talk about them in a non-spoilery way. We're going to go over some high-level concepts, what I thought about the art, the story overall, things like that, to kind of give you an idea of what might be worth picking up, in my opinion. So we're going to go over into the big two, like we do. We're going to go over to Devil's Reign, issue number 2, Chip Zdarsky. I've been loving this book. There's a lot of similarities between this and Civil War Volume 1. And so basically, Wilson Fisk does not appreciate the superheroes, people in masks. So he's putting down some rules, man. He's putting down some rules. He's got his own team. He's got like the Thunderbolts. He's got Crossbones. He's got all kinds of people helping him out. A lot of villains are jumping on his side and kind of enforcing these rules. And so the heroes have their own plans here and there to how they're going to tackle this stuff. This issue kind of goes into a little bit more about some of the issues that are going to be happening within the hero community themselves. Some people want to go in one direction, some others want to go in a different direction. Is that going to breed some kind of resentment soon? So there's not only they're going to have to fight the villains and this new laws that are going into place, but they're going to have they're kind of planting the seed for some kind of internal strife here. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see what's going on. That awesome cover right there. That B cover is just amazing. I do like that. It kind of hinted that maybe Elektra's little friend that she's been kind of mentoring would put the suit on. Of course, it's a comic book and covers don't mean crap. So that's not at all what happened here. Other cool thing is if you're a Doc Ock fan, you're going to love what's going on in the book, especially towards the end of this one too. So if you're into Civil War Volume 1, if you're into the newer Daredevil stuff, if you want to see a lot of heroes from the Marvel universe, a lot of street level heroes kind of coming together and dealing with this threat all together, I think you're going to really enjoy Devil's Reign. It might be kind of like an old idea rehashed, rebranded with some other new characters and some other twists to it, but I've been loving it so far. So Devil's Reign, it's really great. I've loved the Daredevil run, and it kind of tapered off towards the end for me. I didn't really dig the ending, but then jumping into Devil's Reign, I'm just like, I shot right back up with my excitement. Not a lot of Daredevil in this book. He's there, but if you're looking for a Daredevil-centered event, this is not it so far. But it is all about Wilson Fisk and what he's been able to put together in New York over the last run of Daredevil. Devil's Reign number 2, definitely liking it. You guys should go check it out. That's it for Marvel. We're going to go over into DC, starting with Human Target. This is from Tom King. This is issue number 3. Smallwood's art is incredible in this book. Absolutely incredible. The covers are great. Booster Gold's in this one, which I thought was just kind of hilarious in here. So this is basically the ramifications of his little date with Ice that he had in the last issue. I thought it was pretty cool. I don't really know the old Justice League characters. I'm not sure, Guy Gardner and all those guys and Ice and Booster. I'm not up on that. I'd love to be one day. It's just, the modern stuff's kind of taken over my life at this point, and I'd love to go back and read some of the classics. But this is basically Mr. Chance, his interaction with Guy Gardner. Guy's pissed because he's hanging out with his old girl. And so he's kind of playing a tough guy here, trying to push him around a little bit. I love the interaction, the inner monologue, and the little narratives that they put in this story. I'm in love with those. It really reminds me of Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow from Tom King. I really love the way that they kind of put in some of the monologue in between the speech bubbles to hear the inner thoughts of the character and to kind of help progress the story. It says things the character's not saying. It kind of, it's just really fun. I love that style of writing. So Tom King has been really killing it with Supergirl and Human Target for sure. There's a lot of other books that are like Strange Adventures, things like that I've been recommended I need to get into here. But this is a really funny thing. Booster Gold's in here. He's just always a fun time. And so we're on, I think it was day 3. He's been poisoned. He's trying to figure out what's going on. He's kind of teamed up with Ice at this point to try to interview these different people, try to figure out who possibly could kill him or wanted to kill Lex, but really got a chance in this, our Human Target. So he's only got a little over a week left. So he's got to figure all this stuff out. Guy Gardner's interactions was hilarious. The Human Target here, our main guy, he's got his own tricks up his sleeve. He kind of gets the upper hand here and there. I just love the narrative. I love the intimacy in some of these panels towards the end. It's just great. I really, really enjoy it. And top it off, the art is killer. So Human Target from Tom King. If you're not a Tom King fan, I don't know what to tell you, but Human Target's really, really good. I would recommend this one a lot. And also Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, in case you haven't picked that one up yet. All right, going over to another DC book. We have DC versus Vampires. This is Tynan and Rosenberg. I've actually been loving this book. It's kind of like, I really like Deceased. Deceased was a really cool story about these like zombies who came to be after they like picked up some kind of technological virus through their phones and stuff, whatever. It was just cool. I like seeing a bunch of different heroes that we're used to seeing kind of out of their element, being taken over rather quickly. Some of these guys go down like instantly, and it's hilarious to see how that works. And I just like the boiling pot underneath that nobody can really see until it's too late, until it's exploded, and everyone's trying to react at that point. So we have tons of different characters in here that are kind of turned, which ones are, which ones aren't. So we have all these interactions. The heroes really don't trust each other quite yet. Everyone's kind of watching their back like, oh, Flash has been taken out. That's interesting because he's super hard to take out. Who could possibly do that? And so we have all these different heroes just kind of trying to figure out what to do next. There's people in their ranks and they're poisoning the ranks, right? And they're just trying to figure out where to go from here. The Bat family's in here a lot, which I really, really like. Batman had a really cool way of kind of filtering out the bad people from the Bat family. Like, okay, if you're a vampire, I need to kind of protect my family and protect myself, so I need to put you guys through some kind of tests without you even really realizing it. That was covered in the last issue. It was pretty interesting. And then we got a lot of different characters in here interacting in the panels that we haven't seen in the previous issues, which I thought was really cool. So some more heroes go down, some more villains are taken out, some relationships are formed and everything. So I really like that. I like to see where this book is going right here. And Batman's being kind of thrown under the bus right now. So we're going to see how the Justice League kind of responds to that accusation right here. DC versus Vampires. It's a cool event. I'm having a blast with it. I like reading it. It takes me out of continuity a little bit. Maybe not continuity, but it takes me out of the main runs that are going on right now and puts us into just this fun, weird, wacky world where there's vampires and stuff, and that our heroes are involved too in it as well. Cool writing, pretty decent art on here as well. I'm digging that. And so DC versus Vampires. If you've been kind of like hesitant to pick this up because it's just like another weird, it won't matter at the end of this. You'll read these 12 issues and go, oh, that was fun. It is fun. It is fun. But I can understand if people are skipping this and like Task Force Z and things like that. But DC vs. Vampires has been pretty solid so far. All right, we're going to hop over to Robin. This is issue number 9, I believe it is. And I got that awesome little variant cover right here. It's kind of like Little Mac. Little Mac. I don't remember this guy's name. He was in like a few panels of an issue 3 or 4 issues ago, 5 issues ago. And I don't remember who it is. If you guys remember, put it down below in the comments. But he's pretty funny. And so we basically have our story of... It wasn't that unpredictable of a story. We're taking all these really, really great fighters, the most lethal fighters across the entire world. We're bringing them to an island. We're giving them 3 lives. They can kill each other. We're going to put them in a giant tournament. Whoever wins the prize. The people hosting this whole thing, you know, they're completely sus, and we should have seen this coming. These fighters should have seen this coming. They didn't really prepare for that. They were all so focused on the glory of winning this tournament, being the deadliest person alive. And we all kind of just knew what was happening as we read the story. Something's going to happen. It's not going to be what it seems. And so now this is our big fighting the demon battle. Now that we've powered up this demon through this whole tournament, through all the bloodshed and everything, how are we going to take this demon out who's supposed to be imbued with the power of the greatest fighters alive? And so basically it's a big rally team up issue. Robin kind of takes the lead. He kind of reflects back on what his teachings of what Alfred's teachings were. And he kind of becomes the leader that he needs to be. Rallies the forces and kind of gets the job done. It's a big fight issue right here. Lots of dynamic paneling, lots of action, great coloring, like an anime-ish style art, which I thought was pretty cool too. And so I appreciate it. The ending just kind of confused the crap out of me. I'm going to be kind of going into it, not really sure what to expect. And it's kind of a cliffhanger, but like a soft cliffhanger at the end. And so we'll see where it goes from here. I'm wondering if it takes us out of the whole tournament realm and starts the next arc. And so that was pretty cool. The first 9 issues of this run so far has been pretty solid. I would definitely suggest picking it up. It takes us out of Gotham, which is good because a lot of books are keeping us in Gotham right now. Robin number 9 has just been a pretty solid book so far. Then the last DC book we got this week was Swamp Thing Green Hell by Jeff Lemire. This was an incredible book. We just had this awesome run, 10 issues from Ram V on the main Swamp Thing in continuity, and we're going to get another 6 issues of that, which was cool. Then all of a sudden this book dropped. And I'm always curious to know, like, we had planned for Ram V to write 10 issues of Swamp Thing. Now it's going to be 16. how many issues was he into that 10-issue run when he learned that he was going to get 6 more issues? And then when did Jeff Lemire get the call to write a Swamp Thing Green Hell book? It's not connected in any kind of way, but it's interesting to have 2 different books at the same time about the same kind of character. They're not in the same time period. It's not in continuity or anything like that from what I can tell. And of course, we do this with Batman all the time. There's 40 Batman books at the same time. But it's just fun to see 2 great writers writing the same character at the same time, because you get a little bit of a different flavor. But this book is a whole different kind of take. This is almost like a post-apocalyptic Negan coming to Rick to take their goods for the month, right? Like, you're going to produce for us. If you don't, we're going to kill you. Those kinds of things. You guys are living in shambles. We're living in with all kinds of different stuff that you guys have been collecting for us, and we do this all over the place. So we have our group of people right now. They're kind of like on an island. They seem to be like fishing folk, and they're trying to like scavenge and find some stuff. And then you basically have this group coming once a month to take their share. And so they kind of beat them up and everything like that. They're trying to convert them out of the old world. This is a post-apocalyptic world. The Earth's gone to hell. The temperatures are rising. The seas, wildlife is shrinking. You can't really farm that much anymore. And so, it's basically a scavenging kind of situation going on right now. The Green is kind of sick of it right now. They're trying to take back the Earth. The Earth is going to be fine, but all the insects and the bugs and the plants and the foliage and everything else and the fauna are kind of like, we need to kind of absorb people. We need the rot. We need to build the Earth back up. We need to do it very quickly. These humans are really pieces of crap, and so we need to take care of this. And they kind of bring in their little avatar to take things out, to take out this human race. They're kind of sick of their fighting and the turmoil and stuff like that. And so the Green's trying to take everything back. So some of the main guys in this book right here are very desperate. They get the help of somebody, and I'm going to tell you who it is because it's kind of an awesome little cameo in this book, that they get the help of John Constantine. Constantine comes in and pretty much helps them and brings in another ally to help with the battle against the Green. And I'm not going to tell you exactly who that ally is, but he is not happy to see John, that's for sure. And so it's a great little book. I love the art in this thing. It's actually really, really incredible, the art and the coloring in this. And it's interesting to see a Swamp Thing book, rather, in this kind of a setting, in this post-apocalyptic world. And basically, it's just the Green pretty much sick and tired of all the humans' crap, and it's trying to take back over the world. And it is an extra size. It is Black Label. And so it's this larger book right here, which is pretty interesting. These books are, when they first started coming out, I was a little bit mad at it because I'm going to have to stack them differently. You have to get different bags and boards. I'm not even bagging and boarding these things. I'm putting them right with my trades and stuff like that. So it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I remember in the beginning, everyone was kind of freaking out about what we were going to do with these. And they do make bags and boards for this size, but I'm not going to buy those because it'll take forever to fill 50 of those things. So Swamp Thing Green Hell, not a bad read at all. It's Jeff Lemire. It has great characters in it. It has great art in it. It's got an interesting story. It's got an awesome ending. And so I can't wait for issue number 2. Okay, that's it for the big 2. We're going to hop over to some indies, starting with Image Comics. We're going into Ice Cream Man, the Metamorphosis. So W. Maxwell prints on this one. We haven't had an Ice Cream Man in a little while now. And so we are on issue number 27. And so if you've been following this book from the beginning, it's been an interesting tale. Each issue is pretty much self-sustaining. Now, with that said, there are lots of Easter eggs that he loves to put into these issues that call back to little minuscule portions of other stories that he's put out so far. And I mean, things like, you might have some characters in a panel eating cereal, and that cereal box has a logo of some company that he introduced 10 issues ago or 15 issues ago, something like that. Or there might be some kind of billboard with something on it that might recall a moment from another thing, or there might be something like that. It's not going to be, hey, remember the time that this happened and this guy was here, and that changes the plot, and having to understand that other story is what really matters. It's none of that. It's just tiny little Easter eggs that he peppers into all these stories. And there's an overarching plot of just like despair and depression and things like that. So he finds a really interesting way of taking a character, making him really, really relatable, taking all like the demons of that character, and lays out a nice story right here. And just kind of, I don't know, it makes you feel weirdly inspired, but like grimy at the same time, every single one of these issues. So this one right here, is another one of those. A man who feels trapped, possibly. He's going through a lot of changes. His work sucks. Things aren't quite fair at work. He's getting promotions. He's feeling like crap. His marriage is falling apart. They're getting counseling, things like that. And a coworker takes methods into his own hand, and things get really scary. And then he gets kind of wrapped up in the middle of all this kind of stuff. And so it's an interesting book. There's a lot of weird metaphors. There's a lot of layers to this kind of book. It takes a while to kind of digest it and figure out the meaning. I'm going to be honest with you. Most of the time, I'm not dissecting this book. I'm reading it. I'm feeling the way I'm feeling about it, and I'm just moving on because I don't really want to spend the time to diagnose or digest everything about it and try to figure out all the little hidden meanings behind everything. Because at the end of the day, these are all just very, very depressing stories, one after another, after another, after another. They're all very entertaining, but it's like, I don't know, just there's a little bit of a weight with with Ice Cream Man that I don't feel with other books. There's a little bit of a weight, but they're all really brilliant in their own way, their own kind of special way, and I'm enjoying them. I'm wondering how many more issues we can go. Are we going to get 50 issues of all this, and we're never going to have like a connecting plot ever? Are we ever going to touch base with the actual Ice Cream Man again? Figure out what he's all about, figure out if he's going to be taken out or something like that. Like, is that ever going to be a thing? Or are we just going to get all these weird, melancholy, depressing, yet somehow inspirational stories back to back to back to back until this run is over? It's really hard to tell. This is one of those books that you just really can't tell. It's kind of like a silver coin book or something like that. They're all these weird independent stories, yet they're all kind of connected here and there. And you don't really quite know where the whole story is going. Is there a whole story? Or are we just going to get a whole bunch of just kind of one-offs that are somewhat connected? Let me know down below, guys, how you're feeling about Ice Cream Man. We're 27 issues in. 27 issues in. They're all really great. I'm looking forward to every single one of them. But after I read it, I feel like I need a shower, yet I feel weirdly optimistic at the same time. It's very strange. It's a very strange book. Okay, last Image book. We have and this is a big one that came out this week, Stray Dogs, Dog Days, #1. Thick book right here. And from what I can tell, this is kind of the story about how all the original dogs got into the serial killer's house, which is pretty interesting. In the first volume, we got introduced to our dog that kind of took us through the story. She got her owner was killed. She was kidnapped. She was brought to the serial killer's house. There was a bunch of other dogs already there. They all introduced themselves to this new dog, and the story kind of played out from there. But where did these dogs come from? What were their stories? How did they get there? How long had they been there? This book right here is tons of little mini stories about all the different dogs that were already there. That's my interpretation of this anyways, so correct me if I'm wrong. So all these different dogs, how they got to where they ended up at this guy's house, which I thought was pretty cool here. And so, yeah, we get a little bit of an origin story about all these different dogs, which I thought was really interesting. And then, of course, what I appreciate in the back is they put all these different pictures of all these different dogs on here, which I think is really cool. So you can spend a lot of time looking through and checking out all the cute dogs. Every little story is a little bit different, which I appreciate. It kind of starts off with a story of this girl who kind of glamorizes her dog on like an Instagram type of a social media thing. And so he's one of the followers and eventually just kind of gets a hold of her. And then, you know, the rest is history at that point. But each story is a little bit different, which I love. If you like that style, that like down blue style cartoon writing, cartoon art, you're going to see it in here. It's all over the place. It looks a little bit more refined. And they've introduced some additional animals in here, and so I really, really like that. That was really cool. This is probably going to be another really good, fun ride. So I'm really looking forward to Volume 2, Dog Days, from Tony Fleece and Trish Forstner. And then the last book we're going to go over this week was May's book from Jeff Lemire from Dark Horse Comics. This is the last issue #5, at least from what I can tell. I don't see a #6 coming in the horizon. It was a cool conclusion to the story. I'm telling you what, there's not a lot of books that actually make you cry when you read them. This one did it probably in 2, maybe 3 different parts. And it was weird, man. It was so weird. It's very rare that you read a comic book, at least for me, and you actually get emotional. This book really did the job. And so this one's really great. This one's more about fighting those inner demons. He blames himself for a lot of things that happened to the daughter. He's blaming her for not really remembering her, maybe not being able to do enough for her when she was sick, things like that. And since her death, he's really been holding himself down, not being able to progress any forward. He's not building relationships. He's not paying attention to himself. He's not paying attention to his apartment or his job or his ex-wife. His friends, anything, right? He's kind of in this depression, and it's all because he kind of just blames himself and feels that emptiness inside. This book is about how to move on from that. This book is about how to face those demons, how to take that demon out, how to confront your fears, and try to move on. Try to move on, because what else are you going to do? What's the alternative? To stay where you are and stay depressed and dark and never progress, and then eventually that's it? I mean, so it tackles a lot of really great psychological things in this book right here, and the art is really good. He introduces some color just in the most appropriate ways, and it was just like, it's so heartwarming. It's a very heartwarming book. It's a very sad book, but it has a lot of inspiration. It's very, very heartwarming towards the end, and I think he nailed it. Jeff Lemire, issue number 5, probably one of the best books of the year for sure. And yeah, that's all I could say about May's book. If you haven't read this one, check it out. Let me know what you guys thought about it down below. And I don't know if it's because, if you have a kid or whatever, it's really going to hit you hard. If you don't, there's no way that you wouldn't be hit as well. Yeah, what a crazy, crazy book May's book has been. All right, so as we do, we're going to go ahead and pick out our favorite books of the week. This is going to be very hard because we didn't pick up a whole lot of books, and honestly, there was none that I read this week that I didn't like. There was some that blew me away and some that were like, wow, that was really good. So which ones did I love the most? I guess I could say right there. May's book, it made me cry, y'all. It made me cry. I'm taking this book all day long. May's book, number 5, was absolutely spectacular. Loved that one right there. I'm going to say Human Target was another great read. I love Tom King's writing in this book. I just love the dialogue you read that the characters are saying back and forth, but then the inner monologue that kind of helps support it, and it adds a whole new level of context, and the art is crazy good with Smallwood. I'm loving that one. Stray Dogs was refreshing. It was good to get back into the world. We learned a lot about the existing characters in the book, but it didn't really push anything forward. So I'm gonna say it's a for sure pickup because it's such a great volume 1, and volume 2 is going to be great too. I would definitely pick that one up as well. And then I'm gonna say Swamp Thing because that was just such a great read, and I love the character, and I love Jeff Lemire's writing in this one. And after the end of this issue, I was really excited to get issue number 2. So those are the 3 that I would pick up: Human Target, May's book, and Swamp Thing. Let me know what you guys picked up this week, what you thought about them, what were your favorite reads. Let me know down below in the comments. Like, subscribe, share, hit that bell notification for future videos. It is New Year's Eve, so stay safe out there. Happy 2022. I hope you guys have a great time tonight. Be safe out there. We'll see you in the comments.